What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, and I'm back with another good video. This one is gonna be it was supposed to originally be two separate videos when I wrote these when I was in jail. But since I'm out of jail, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna elaborate good on them, and I'm gonna shoot straight shots, straight to the point. Cause I was thinking about, actually, commercializing and monetizing. I had a lot more to consider when I was making these in jail, because I was supposed to get out and get the ball rolling. You see that didn't happen. But it's two videos I got here, and one of them is a very spiritual perspective on cannabis, okay, which I'm going to discuss first, and the reasons that I even smoke cannabis, and there's some pretty good reasons. Pretty sure you want to hear those without a doubt, no doubt in my head. I'm actually proud of myself that I utilized my time the way I did when I was in jail, because either way it go, everything I did in there was going to be beneficial at some point or another. Even the meditations, that I did specifically about how I'm going to grow musically, how I'm going to grow anything, and it transferred over to music. And that's what I mean. It's going to be, everything I thought of is going to be useful. Anything I wrote down is going to be useful regardless. I got a lot of videos lined up that I thought of while I was in jail, and those is all going to come forth on this channel. Some spiritual videos, some hot topics, Well, I know topics that's interesting to most people, and I know a lot of people will probably want to hear my perspective, given the fact that I've already been discussing the spiritual stuff, and people liked it. They always bring it back up. So, without further ado, we're gonna get into the first part of the title, the first part of the video, which is a very spiritual perspective on cannabis, as I have it here on paper. Okay, and it's not much. It's just like the stuff that people don't talk about, pretty much. The effects of weed are not just high and dry mouth, short-term memory loss, etc. There's a lot more to weed. There's also an effect that blurs the distinction between the spiritual realm and the physical realm for your subconscious mind. They become distorted. This could lead to you hearing voices when you're not even high. Okay. Weed is still going to be in your system. It's not like you just get high and it's all over with. It's not. Okay, take it from me, I know, it's been times where I couldn't get my hands on some weed, and they started to take a toll on me. I got the power mentally, I'm strong enough mentally to drop weed cold turkey, but some people, they don't have that same power. So, you should take that into consideration before you start smoking. And I'm not going to say weed is terrible if you can maintain, and if you could deal with after effects if you have them, of when you can't get weed. So there's that. Don't ignore it. Okay? Don't ignore it. People say you can't overdose to death on weed, but that is from a physical standpoint. Spiritually, you can overdose. That will cause you to do things that can lead to your death. Okay? You start hearing these voices. You start thinking in awkward ways. You have awkward thought patterns. That's all spiritual. Okay? And given the fact you're not strong enough to handle everything that's going to come with smoking weed, you could die. And it's not going to be like, oh man, I had too much in OD, my body couldn't take it. No, I had too much OD, my mind, I wasn't spiritually prepared. And it kind of led me down this path of destruction, and I'm dead. That's what you'll be saying in the afterlife. If there's an afterlife. In my spiritual beliefs, I would tell you how death and all that is looked at from my standpoint, from the way the things go, the way I believe them. Yeah, hey. Eventually, I'll make videos about my spiritual beliefs and spread them. Okay, it's a sustainable way of thinking, the way I think. It's good for you. It's healthy. It's harsh, but it's healthy. You know, that's the truth. Okay. This is something I wanted to say about cannabis, because this is a spiritual perspective on cannabis. Okay. Cannabis is a very spiritual plant that you should not just mindlessly indulge. You should pay attention to yourself even when you're not high. You should not indulge if you are having hard times balancing yourself spiritually, especially if it's about to be your first time smoking, because cannabis amplifies everything, okay? If you're not ready for every part of your life to be amplified and put in your face, don't smoke weed. Don't smoke cannabis, because that's all it's going to do is multiply everything. Okay. Ask me how I know from experience. Okay. That's just the nature of the beast with weed. It's going to amplify everything. Nothing's going to escape without being amped up. You know, and it's not making you hype. No. If you happy, you're going to be super happy. If you sad, you're going to be super sad. You know, if you scared, you're going to have anxiety. Fully blown anxiety, panic attack. You know. Don't do it. Be careful. Just let you know now, because that's something you need to know before you smoke. You know, people always bring it up when they talk about shrooms, talking about bad trips and whatnot. Weed ain't that much a difference. And they always say shrooms is such a spiritual experience. Weed is a very spiritual experience. It's just that people get high and they don't see, you know, it depends on how high you are. Things can get distorted. I know. I done seen grass that looked like diamonds on the ground, but it was green and like pyramids kind of. It's like the grass wasn't just sticks of grass. The trees look like, you know, weed is actually, you get to see stuff if you get high enough, trust me. It's not like colors and everything, but it's an experience that you just don't forget. Okay, as a high-level empath, okay, this is how I feel about it. People can say whatever they want, but as a high-level empath, okay, I feel like the voices that I hear are literally people's mind, okay? I also, and this is another major thing, you know, and this is a big part of my spirituality, okay? I feel, you know, people going to trip, they going to be like, oh, this nigga tripping, this nigga man crazy, this nigga man Kanye Jr., this nigga done lost his mind. Nah, okay? I feel like if it's not a voice out of somebody's head, then it's from some kind of being with a much higher perspective than my own. Because the way stuff come to me in my head, it's like, man, it's no way. I be feeling like it's no way I could have thought of that. You know, I'm great in everything, but man, that was some next level stuff that just came into my head. So I was like, hey, you know, I know nobody around me ain't thinking like that. So that ain't somebody's voice that I'm hearing out their head. That's some upper echelon of existence type of deal that just want to tell me something. You know, I be feeling special. You know, if I'm the guy thinking of this stuff, then man, you know, I'm pure greatness, without a doubt. But I kind of say, hey, it's no way that it could be me, because it's no way I could even have connected that, because in order to do that, you had to know this. You know, I be feeling like the universe be placing me places and whatnot. And just, it's insane. You know, it's insane. I got an understanding that a lot of things is out of my control. And a lot of things I wouldn't have known had I not been allowed to know by something greater than myself. Can't say I'm a Christian who believes in Jesus Christ. Can't say I'm a Muslim who believes in Allah. You know, I can't even say my beliefs have a book unless I write that. And I thought about it very hard, bringing forth some kind of spiritual belief. Okay. And this might be the last thing I'm going to say about my spiritual perspective on cannabis. Everything spiritual becomes physical and vice versa. Okay? And this is true. This is true what I'm about to say. These examples. People with negative energy, they start to literally give off a feeling of magnetic repulsion. Okay? It's like, man, my whole essence fully rejects them. It's like, man, they come and I don't want to partake. I just ain't feeling no vibes. I don't want to be around them. You know, it's a fully blown push away. I cannot be around them. You know. So there's that. Oh yeah. The feelings, if you get high, the feeling you feel to, as a man myself, the feeling I feel toward women is magnetic. Okay? They be saying, magnetic this and, magnetic love, and that's real. Okay? It feel magnetic. You just like, man, it's a nag and an urge, and it feels magnetic. It's like woman, man, magnetic. Okay. Yeah. And not only do you hear voices in your head, but you can hear voices in your ears that no one's there to hear, that no one's there to make. You can physically hear voices. Some people call it white noise, some people call it this, but when you hear like voices with it, it's not white noise anymore, it's voices. The physical and the non-physical start to become whatever. They start to, like, what's the word? They become inseparable, indistinguishable. Minor things like that. Minor things like that show me that it's more the weed than what meets the body and the eye. The third eye. That's what the attention need to be paid to at this point. It's not about your physical. It's not about what you can see. It's about your third eye at this point. With weed. And all this stuff is scare people away, but it's multiple reasons why I love it. Why people love it. The plant. That's what I call it. Cannabis, marijuana, weed, hashish, whatever niggas call it. There's multiple reasons why people do it. Okay? And I'm going to just name a few and maybe some reasons why. Some details. I'm going to elaborate. I'm going to just start off from the top. Making music is just the best experience when you stoned. It's like, man, I feel vibes through the beat. It's like the beat giving me some type of, it's the beat lifting me up. It's like, man, it's like I'm best friends with the beat. I hear all the instruments. Everything is nice. I'm laughing. I'm happy. I'm being creative. I'm letting myself flow. How could you not like that? You can't not like that. Trust me. More emotionally present. Because the sober me is like, I'm a little bit more detached. I'm quicker to anger. I'm not really going with the flow. It ain't no going with the flow when I'm sober. It's like I'm stopping the flow to figure out what the flow talking about before I go with the flow. It's like, hey, I'm just more there. I'm more available. I'm more present. That's how I feel. Like I'm able to express myself, or I care less about my ego and whatnot. I'm not saying I'm getting ran over, but it's like I'm more liable to lend myself to people and ideas. It's just the way it go with cannabis. It's like, look, but I could tighten up and be militant on cannabis, but I just be, that's really not at my concern off cannabis. I just be more wanting to be happy, type of deal. I want the things in life that that's priceless, pretty much. This one is funny, but it's easier to use the restroom and not urinate. Take a number 2. Cannabis just make it, it just relax you like a laxative, pretty much. It's like a laxative, but you don't have to take a laxative, and it's not gonna keep you running for hours and hours. Like you smoke, 15 or 30 minutes later, you high, another 15 minutes, probably gotta use the bathroom. It's a nice plant, If cannabis doesn't make you go and you have to go, then you probably should be drinking some water, because you might be dehydrated. Accomplishing tasks give you a dopamine boost. Yeah. It's like, when I finish a task and I'm sober, it's like, okay, I'm doing what must be done. When I do it when I'm high, it's like, look at me, doing all the good stuff I need to do for myself. It's a big boost, okay? It's a big boost. That's it. You gotta love that, though. I mean, like, I came up with a raw bar. It's like, yo, if you sober, like, yeah, I'm spitting fire. If you high, I'll be like, yeah, I'm the rawest thing in the world. You think nothing could stop me? Yeah, that's how I feel. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, every idea makes you feel like a genius. Even the simple ideas. You come up with the most simplest idea, you just feel like a genius, man. A psychic. You feel like you're the top of the intellectual hierarchy. That's how I be feeling. It's like, man, this simple thing I just did made me feel so good. And I go back to the dopamine boost when accomplishing tasks. But it's ideas this time. It's the two different ways. The accomplishing task, the physical side, and the ideas would be the spiritual side of that boost that you get from cannabis. Okay, and it's another thing that make cannabis so good. Alternate perspectives and thought patterns unlock. They could be used when sober. It's like I done did something when I was high that I wouldn't have done when I was sober, but then I could do it again when I'm sober because I already done it when I'm high. You see? And I can learn from my high self and use those same good things when I'm sober. It's like a boost. Those same awkward ways of thinking that I think when I'm high, my sober mind might pick up later on some of that stuff and use it to my advantage while I'm sober. You gotta love that, because I done benefited from that multiples of times, where it's like the way I was thinking when I was high, I was able to bring it back when I was sober and use it to my advantage. But with all the perks, because being high come with its pros and being sober come with its pros. So if you can transfer some stuff over to when you're sober, all the more, all the more merrier. So those alternate thought patterns and whatnot, you gotta love them. Okay, much more in tune with my body. Okay, I'm more sensitive to all the changes that it goes through. I found out that one of the problems that I was having was I was sitting in a particular way or doing some particular thing that was affecting my body in a way. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it was like I think I was wearing something that was too tight, not too tight, but it was just not giving me space for my area, my genitals and whatnot. So I got high and I realized that, man, what is this feeling I'm feeling? Because when I'm sober, I don't feel it. When I get high, it's like real subtle and it builds up, it nags me. And since my body's so sensitive, I was like, I take my time and I think, I'm like, man, what is the problem? So I start trying stuff and eventually I figure out what the problem is. In this instance, it was some boxer briefs. That's why nowadays I kind of just avoid wearing like briefs that fit, like spandex briefs and whatnot. Kind of avoid it, unless I can find a decent pair that just fit the right way. Other than that, it's gonna be some cotton briefs. Would show my briefs on here, but I'm like, who wants to see me flashing my underwear online? Even though they're clean and stainless, look brand new, So I don't know. I just feel the need to show them. this is the type of briefs that I wear now. Not boxers, but you know, like, hey man, everything else make me feel some type of way. It's like I'm all constantly nagging, tugging and whatnot. So anyway, back to being more in tune with my body. Oh yeah, and I was high when I found out that the dairy products was causing me the problems. It's like I started to realize the pattern. It's not like I was sober and I just was eating pizza and eating this, eating that. It's like eating pizza, I'm getting high. I'm like, man, you know, every time I eat pizza, a couple hours later, I'm having breathing problems. What's up with that? So started to pay more attention. Every time I ate something with cheese or milk, say, man, I better stay away from that stuff unless I want to have a bad day, because, you know, I could have an asthma attack mixed with that, mixed with a cold, and it's probably ripped Maine after that. You know. Plus my breathing shaky, dust in the environment. Lately, I've been getting better with my breathing, yeah, because it was terrible. Because of that job I was at had dust in the air everywhere. You know, it's like, man, I was bound to die. You know, so I'm like, hey, I'm not for it. You know, it's other stuff that I can do. Plus, other stuff happened. I'm like, hey, screw it, find somewhere else to be. But yeah, no dairy products and no spandex boxers, because I'm way more in tune with my body when I'm high. You know, okay, here's another point. You're way more relaxed than when you're sober. Everybody already knows this. You smoke weed, kick back. Some people smoke it after they get off work so they can just, you know. And I'm going to get right on to that next, you know, being more relaxed. You know, next point has a lot to do with that. But a lot of people smoke, they get off work, kind of just kick back, watch TV, and prepare, you know, they relax and prepare for the next work day. You know, a lot of jobs ain't as stringent on weed as they used to be, because it's coming out that weed is not the problem. It's the user. That's the problem. You know, most of the people I know been smoking, and you it's not like you could look at somebody and say, hey, you smoke weed. Nah, because that's not what weed does. Weed is just weed. Get you high, you know, and if you can maintain, then hey, if your mind is occupied like Netflix, YouTube, and Instagram, like most people, I feel like that's the reason that it's not a widespread, everybody tripping every day type of deal, you know. But occupy your mind, chase your dreams. Don't let nothing get you down. Don't waste your time, you know, but occupy your mind. And for me, that's chasing my dreams. I'm not a fan of, you know, Netflixing and this and that and this and that, at least until I'm at a certain point where I feel comfortable, because doing that stuff nowadays kind of eat at me. It's like, man, I'm wasting time. I'm not doing nothing. Might get on Instagram and scroll, but that's just because I be putting stuff on Instagram. And the last point I want to get into is you wake up way earlier and you feel super refreshed. That's one of the best things about it. The people who get off, kick back at the end of their work day, they smoke, they go able to wake up unless they stay up. If you got to be to work at 6 and you stand up to about 2 in the morning, 1:30, 1 o'clock, you're going to get what you deserve, you know. You're going to get what you're asking for. But me, if I smoke weed and I had to be up at 6, I could go to sleep at 2 in the morning. I could lay down at 1:30 and be asleep by 2 and wake up feeling like a brand new body. Okay. Crazy. Okay, but weed can do that for you. I can't say that everybody get the same results. All I can do is tell you what I experienced. And what I experienced is that. And it's been more than one time I've done that. You know. So, hey. That was the reasons why people would smoke cannabis. Can't beat it. Anyway, it's your main man, Dr. Main, man. Oh, I just said Dr. Main, like I'm rapping. You know, if you didn't know I rap, you should go check that out. I'm gonna link it down below. My YouTube channel where the music is at. Anyway, take it easy, because I surely will.